that inside the single market, you have to, of course, obey the single market's rules and regulations. Nothing wrong with that in principle, except that those rules and regulations extend over the whole of your economy. Now, if we were outside the single market, it is of course true that in order to export into it, we would have to obey European standards, quality checks and so on and so forth to sell our goods into that market, as we do have to obey American standards or Australian standards or whatever standards in order to sell into those markets. The difference is, if we were outside the so-called single market, we wouldn't have to apply those rules and regulations across the whole of our economy. Now, roughly about 12% of the UK's economy consists of exports to the European Union, goods and services, which means, of course, that some 88% does not consist of exports to the European Union, and yet that 88% is subject to the panoply of rules and regulations as well. You don't have to be in the single market in order to sell into the single market.
That we have discovered over the last 25 years that there is a big difference between a free trade area, which is just the removal of tariff barriers, and a single market, which goes much, much further than that and removes a lot of non-tariff barriers, which are actually far more damaging than a low level of tariff. And that single market is what makes the big difference now, and what has made a huge difference to the opportunities for British industry, both manufacturing and services, and which remains a possibility to go far further.
Human beings generally are very good at aligning the public interest with their own interest. And in all this debate, I always hear people telling us, businessmen particularly, but not confined to them, this is going to be very good for my business, and lo and behold, it's also very good for Britain. So if you are listening to anybody and still even vaguely undecided before this, look out for those people who say Brexit is going to be appalling for me, but Britain should still do it, or conversely, staying in is going to ruin my business, but that's what we should do.